I'm a big fan of Aero Precision, and I figured I'd do a review of these two stripped uppers. These are the milspec style, as opposed to the M4E1. And I got these in just yesterday from Optics Planet. So let me just first mention the finish on these is really good. And you know, it's got a little texture. It's not too shiny, kind of a matte finish. And I've never got to measure the coating thickness, but from talking to a local guy that does Cerakote, where they blast off the anodizing and then Cerakote it, which I would never do, he tells me that the coating is pretty, I don't want to say hard to remove, but a lot harder than, say, something like a Geisley, which he specifically mentioned. So, you know, they look and feel great. They got the laser engraved T marks. It's the Anchor Harvey forging. Something I noticed just this past week, comparing some of my different uppers. This area here looks quite different on, say, like a square forge, where this line is kind of short and curved. So, you know, for better or worse, I like the overall product better than my square forge, especially this cut here. This looks kind of nasty on my square forged receivers. And I don't know if that's the machining or the forging or both. But Aero Precision cuts these rails short. Usually they go to right about here. And you know, a lot of people like that because it's supposed to clear gloves, grabbing the charging handle. I don't love it because some backup sites, the clamp will overhang it. I like to see the rail extend past the clamp, but it's not enough to stop me from using these. The bore is nice and smooth, even though there's no dry film lube. Some weird little lines here, but you know, still feels really smooth. I will mention, and I don't know, maybe it's more prominent on the other one. I don't know if this is on the print or not, but there's a step right there, small step. And you know, somebody let me know, maybe it's on the print, maybe it's not, but I think that's part of what makes these such a good fit with barrel extensions. A Daniel Defense barrel extension, in my experience, goes in nice and tight. However, my Daniel Defense bolt and my Palmetto State Armory bolt were kind of sticky when seated, but I did wear it right in just by kind of just bouncing the bolt carrier off the barrel extension a couple of times, and it wore right in. So the next thing I want to mention is I'm actually sending one of these back. Get the focus right. So I'm sending one of these back because the lugs are oversized. The lugs on this one, measured with a calibrated micrometer, were 496/8, which is a little on the big side, but that's right where I like it. The lug up top on both front and rear on this receiver were 4993, and it does not fit my Aero lowers. It does not fit most of my lowers, so this one's going back. Another thing I wanted to mention is this big chamfer. I guess maybe to aid the pins going in. I don't mind it, but I wanted to mention that my first Aero that's on an upper now, I was just looking at them, comparing them, only has it on the rear. And I don't think it's done by hand because the rear hole, as you might know, is a slot, and yet it's even, which means it was done on the CNC. So somebody had just forgotten to do the front. And of course you got this little chamfer on the other side. Now this guy, I think I'm gonna keep. It fits my lower well. You know, this one on the right, the oversized one I'm sending back. And I was thinking about putting a CMT rail on this. And I don't know if you'd heard that people say they don't fit Aeros well. I don't think it's actually unique to Aero. The anti-rotation tabs in the CMT rail sit right on the forging. So this feature is not machined. It's not as well controlled, and they vary in size. And it's hard to get a hold of anybody at CMT, but the guide Forward Controls, for whom CMT makes their rails, mention that this gap is 6/32.5 between the two tabs. And I think I got these swapped. Yep, that's the one with the scratches. Sorry. So this is the one I'm keeping. Look at that. I might just be able to just bang it right on the anodizing. We'll just wear in, or maybe just kiss it with a stone. So that's a good size for installing the rail. This one's a little bigger. However, it's about the same size as all my square forged receivers. And so now for the scratches. And it's not the rack marks from anodizing, because those, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it. See that little line? That short little line, that's the rack mark. There's one on either side. And then it looks like maybe they were pulling it off the rack and just let the tips slip. Inch long scratch, inch long scratch. It's whatever, just, I don't love it. You know, I scored these for just 66 bucks. If I had to, let's say, you know, if I held on to this, didn't use it and resold it, I feel like that would take away the value of that purchase price. It'd be about all they're worth. These little nicks I noticed too. And I think that's pretty much it, but really nice product overall. I will also mention I tried screwing the, just a milspec barrel nut I had kicking around, and it went on a little rough. Of course, it just wears right in. What else? Oh, this scratched one has a little, I don't even know what to call that. It's not a ding. But I mean, nothing is what it was pre-2020, but this is close. Of course, M4 ramps, obviously, and nice, well-formed ones.